favor. Can you please put in the chat box what your age is? Just tell me how old you are real quick. And there's a reason I'm asking. All right. We've got 12, 11, 14, 11. Ooh, 14 in September. Hey. I'll tell you what I am. Sama, I think you are the youngest one. Okay, so Sama, we're gonna talk about things. They might be a little bit like a few years older than what conversations you and your friends are having, but that's okay. It's nothing like parental advisory. All right. Beautiful. So it is 6:08. Maybe we'll go 3 minutes over today just so we can make up for the delay in time. But today we're going to do a very special topic. And oops, can you all hear me? Mariam can't hear anything. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Cool. All right. So I think it's just you, Mariam. Try like.
Wait, put your audio. Yes. Make sure it's on.
Here, let me text you that. Everyone else can hear. Oh, is my Wi-Fi okay?
No, I think it's just her.
Yeah, okay. It's just her.
Just you, girlfriend. I'm so sorry. All right, cool. All right, let's get talking. Everyone got their pen and their paper today?
Can I go get it?
Yeah, you go ahead and get it. So what I want us to talk about today is a topic that it might be one of the most important topics in the world, especially for American Muslims, if that's how you identify. And the reason why it's so important is because each and every one of us, we have so many different things that make us who we are, right? So for me, I'm Syrian, but I'm also American, but I'm also from Colorado. I'm a woman, I'm Arab, right? Arab is different than Syrian because Arab connects you to more people. I'm a poet, I'm an artist, I'm married to a Pakistani, so I'm tied to a Pakistani community. There's a lot of different pieces of my identity. I'm a Muslim, I am a college graduate, right? There's all these different things. So you know how when you're driving on the road and there's one road going this way, right? One road going straight and another road going this way. And they meet at this spot right here. And this spot is called an intersection. That's what it's called on the street. Well, sometimes our identities will also intersect. We'll have so many different parts of who we are come together. So what I want us to do is I want us to write down some of our identities. Now, before you write this, I want us to get a little creative. And sometimes we identify ourselves with things that aren't very nice. So some people might identify themselves as ugly or stupid or lazy. These are identities too. They're identities we don't want, but we need to be aware of how we identify ourselves. So write down all of your identities, even the things that maybe you're not proud about. You don't have to share those with anybody. But let's take the next 2 minutes. And if we need more time, I'll add more time. Let's take the next 2 minutes to just write down every single type of identity that we have. Daughter, sister, all of those things, okay?
So like things that describe you?
Yeah, exactly. All of the different things that describe you. Whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, all of the things you can think of, okay? Try to be creative and think big, all right? All right, so I'm starting the timer. Let's make it 3 minutes. I'm starting the 3-minute timer now. And if you're done, just put done in the chat box. I believe someone is just now joining us. So you will see in the chat box, we're writing down a list of all our different identities.
How much time is left?
We have 1 minute left.
You have to put like your not so good ones in the chat.
You don't have to share your not so good ones, but I want you to write them down, okay?
Okay.
I'm finished with my identity.
Beautiful. You want to put them in the chat for us, Sama? Or would you rather?
Asma is, wait, I see in the chat that Asma writed she was a slave or something.
Yeah, I think we'll let her explain it in just a minute.
I've never been a slave. Good that I was born after the Civil War.
I think she might mean something like slave of Allah, but we'll ask her to see what she thinks. All right.
Copyright what I have in my notebook in the chat.
All right, my dears, you guys ready?
Can I go first?
You sure can.
Identity. Arabic, like I talk, I'm Egyptian, and I was born in America, and I'm an Egyptian. I wear hijab outside and like in school, like my identity of like how I look, and then like where I'm at very often is in the house. I talk English a lot, in Arabic like a medium amount. Yeah, they will laugh.
Awesome. Thank you, Sama. That's very interesting. You touched base on language. You touched base on your visual identity, how people see you. You touched base on a lot of different things. That's great. All right. Who wants to go next? If no one volunteers, I'll volunteer you.
Maybe Tasneem.
Sama, believe it or not, I was going to say Tasneem, go next. Hi, Tasneem. Assalamu alaikum. I think this is the first time I'm meeting you.
I don't know what kind of Tasneem that is. Because I have a Tasneem that I know and she's my friend, or a different Tasneem.
Hi, Tasneem. Are you there? We'll give Tasneem a few minutes. Samah, how about you? Why don't you go?
I identify as a daughter and a sister. I'm Bangladeshi, and I'm a volunteer, a Girl Scout, and a hard worker.
I love that. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Samah. Asma, do you want to clarify what you mean by slave for our dear little Sama?
Yeah, I meant the slave of Allah.
Slave of Allah, the Abd of Allah. Beautiful. Mayar, how about you? Why don't you share?
Okay, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm an American, I'm Egyptian, I'm hajiba, like I wear the hijab everywhere. I'm caring and helpful, yeah.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you brought in some of your personal characteristics because those are our identities. If you look at the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was known as a Sadiq. He was known as the truthful, right? Was it Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam who was known as the friend of Allah? These different people, certain Sahabas, there's Khalid bin Walid. He was Saifullah. He was the sword of Allah. So like their strength, all of these different things, this is who they are, and they're known by their characteristics. So good job.
I forgot to say some stuff. Can I say them?
I'll let you go last, Sama. Let's let Sarah go next. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. My dear Sarah, Muhammad, it is your turn.
So I'm a daughter, I'm a friend.
Oh, talk way louder. I can hardly hear you.
Okay, my mic was off. But I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, an artist when I have the brains. I'm lazy sometimes. I am about to be a middle school graduate. I love to craft. I'm an Arab, I'm an Egyptian. English was my second language. I'm nice when the person in front of me is nice as well. I love to play Roblox. I'm American, I'm a student, and I'm a sister.
Beautiful. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing. Those are wonderful. Aisha, I know that you put it in the chat, but would you mind reading your pieces as well?
I'm a daughter, sister, Muslim, Egyptian. I'm 12, turning 13, and I'm kind and respectful.
Say that last one again.
And I'm kind and respectful.
You're kind and respectful. That's wonderful qualities to have. Maryam Ali, how about you? Turn off your mic and then turn it back on. Come back to it. All right. In the meantime, does Muna Islam's son want to speak as well?
Yes, say something.
Did you write down your identities?
Come on, everyone. Don't be shy. Come on.
Okay.
You'll do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 11. I'm a Muslim. I'm a scout. I'm doing this, and my favorite color is blue. And I'm a 5th grader. And I like math a lot.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much for sharing, my dear. I appreciate it. Hannah and Farah, welcome. We're writing all of our different identities. So I have a list of 24 identities. I might have overdone it a little bit, but there are some of them that are important to me and some of them that, they're there. So I'm going to read you some of mine. And if you come up with some more to add to your list, I want you to add to your list, okay? All right. So some of my identities include Muslim, Arab, American, poet, artist, wife, daughter, hard worker, sister, aunt, teacher, mentor, writer, student, homemaker, woman, Syrian, mistake maker, citizen, hijabi, volunteer. Those are some of mine. There's a couple I skipped because I got insecure about them. So that happens sometimes. But yeah, there's a whole lot of different ways that we can identify ourselves. And I think sometimes, Assalamu alaikum, Rebecca. Nice to have you. Right now we are writing about all our different identities. So why don't...
Can I say the identities of I forgot?
Yes, you sure can. Go ahead.
I am a daughter, a friend, lazy sometimes, love to play Roblox. Favorite color is red.
Awesome. I don't know what Roblox is, but like we've had 2 different girls.
It's a game for kids.
Is it fun?
Sometimes, yes, it's very fun. I'm very rich in the game.
That's great. Noted. I'll have to check Roblox out. So Tasneem, do you want to read out loud or would you prefer the chat?
I can read it out loud.
Wonderful. Let's hear it.
I am Egyptian. I spent most of my life in Germany. I'm a daughter. I wear hijab when I go outside. I'm 10. I can speak English and Arabic.
Wow. Did you learn German too?
I learned German, but then I went back to Egypt and then I came here, so I forgot German.
Got you. That's cool. My mom, I think I told you guys, my mom converted to Islam, but her family, they're from Iowa, but they come from Germany. That's what their motherland is. So I have a connection to Germany too. And because of the war in Syria, I have a lot of friends there as well. So I like this. Sister Mona, I love that your son is like walking on the table. We can see you in the mirror.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Beautiful. Okay, so guys, let's talk about some different aspects of our identity that are sometimes challenging to have. Because sometimes there's identities that are given to us. Can anyone give me an example of an identity that is given to us?
Your gender.
Your gender,
Where you from?
where you're from. So these are things we're born with, right?
How old you are?
Your language?
Right. What about things that other people give you that might not be true?
Maybe like looks, like they might put makeup on your face.
Interesting.
Your name?
Yeah, so
Maybe like if you have a mother who has maybe some freckles, you might get freckles from your mother or something like that.
for sure. So a lot of things like our looks and our gender, our names, how people perceive us. What about, and we're gonna do a little bit of real talk here. When I say real talk, it means some more serious stuff. What about on the news when they call Muslims certain things? Is that an identity that's given to us?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hi, Shanzana, welcome. Nice to see you. Yeah. So maybe someone might say terrorist is your identity, right? That's a heavy identity, and we don't identify with it, but someone else might identify with that, right? But that's not right.
Maybe they can identify, like, maybe if like I look like an American, but I'm also in my true identity, I'm also Egyptian.
Someone will look at a woman like my mom, who's an American, she's a white American, but she wears hijab, but they'll tell her to go back to your country, right? Even though she's American. So I think what I'm getting at here, go ahead.
Does your skin color count as your identity?
Absolutely, 1000%. Skin color is a huge part of our identity, especially right now with what's going on with Black Lives Matter, what's going on with racism in the world, so that's skin color is a huge, huge piece of identity.
Cultures, like somebody might judge you, like some people like have these, national days for something that's very stupid, like National Pencil Day, something like that.
Like National what day?
Pencil. Like
National Pencil Day?
Okay, they might have that I'm just making that up. They might have that at their country, but others make fun of it.
Yeah, right. So we can sometimes identify people who are different from us, right? Maybe we can accuse someone of being evil or bad, or we talked about looks. Maybe sometimes, the news might identify something as pretty and something as ugly. And then we think that those are our identities too, right? That happens a lot. Or maybe someone might say, you're too this, you're too that. You're not beautiful enough. You're not smart enough. You're not this enough. So a lot of these identities that people try to push on us, right? Those are tough to deal with. What else? Give me some other examples that you've seen in your world. Maybe some specific stories about identities that did not belong to you. Or maybe a time that you gave someone an identity.
Maybe somebody might judge you because of like the house you live in. Like somebody might live in an apartment and another person might live in a mansion, and they might make fun of that person and tell them you live in an apartment while I live in this.
Right. So people will judge you based on how much money you make, Hannah, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say maybe like if you dress or act and so like you have a special identity that belongs to you, but someone else tries to change you because they don't like something about you, or like they're like, oh, I don't like that you're Muslim. Why don't you change to Christianity? Or I don't like the way you dress. Wear this instead. This is much better. Oh, if you're gonna be whatever, like if you want to be something, oh, if you're gonna act like that, well then you have to do this first. You can't do that and expect to be like that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
like
think-
some woman on TikTok, she literally took her hijab off because her friend because her friends like threatened her. They said, you either do this or we might like murder you, something like that. And she had to take off her hijab and become Christian just because her friends said that.
Wow. I'm sure she didn't become Christian because you can't like just do that overnight, but she definitely had to take off her hijab out of fear. And that is a common thing that happens when we want to take off our hijab because we feel different and people aren't kind to us because of that. I've definitely had experiences where people will say horrible, horrible things. Raghead, diaper head. One time I told the guy, I'm like, excuse me, sir. According to Forever 21, this rag is in style right now. So please do not be sassy, okay? But it happens a lot. And here's the thing about identity. Identity is what makes us belong. That's how we belong. You're a Muslim, you belong with Muslims. You're a sister, you belong with your family members. You're a teacher, you belong with your students. You're a citizen, you belong with America. You're an Egyptian, you belong with Egypt, right? It's a lot of like identity and belonging go hand in hand. And that's why it's so difficult. That's why sometimes it's not easy to wear a hijab because we don't want to feel different. Or it's not easy. We might want to change the color of our skin because we don't want people to know where we're from. Has anyone ever experienced that before? I know I have.
I know what it feels like, but I've never experienced it. Yeah, I'm still not really a muhajjaba right now, but I'm kind of like I'm not sure like what will happen. I want to wear the hijab, and I'm sure I'm gonna wear the hijab when I'm older, but I'm just not sure what will happen at school.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any of these concerns?
Can I say something?
I had an example of something also that like is like one of the attributes that like add on to their identity. And I'm saying this because it is part of my identity. Like most of my family has very dark brown colored eyes, but I'm one of the 5% of my family who have like colored eyes. I have like kind of greenish but amber colored eyes.
For sure. So the color of your eyes makes you different. Tasneem, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
I'm not fully muhajjaba yet, but like the only thing I don't wear the hijab to is school, because I also don't know what's gonna happen there and what people are gonna say about me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of girls are kind of like a little bit scared of wearing the hijab, and they're not sure. Like they have to think for a while because they're like, what if I get bullied by this, and what if my friends don't become my friends anymore because they think I look bad and stuff. They have like bad thoughts, and they have like negative thoughts that are positive ones.
Well, first, I'm going to say this, and this goes true in all aspects of life. If they don't like you for who you are, then they're not your real friends. That is a fact. If your friends don't stand by you when you are being who you are, then they're not your friends, you know? And that's the hard part when you choose to be who you are. I know that when I started becoming a poet and I was traveling and stuff, I lost a lot of friends because they're like, this isn't who we are. So we can't really be friends anymore because we're different. That was really hard. But
Yeah, I found this thing on YouTube, and it was to check if your friends really are your true friends. And so it was like where somebody wore hijab and sent it to their best friend even before they wore the hijab, and they wanted to see what their best friend's reaction was. So I did that, and my best friend, she's like, "You look unrecognizable, but beautiful." Well, I'm like, well, now I think she's a true friend, no matter what.
The meeting is.
Stop.
yeah, we've got 10 minutes for our meeting, my dears. Did any of the older girls have anything to add to this conversation? Because it's a big conversation.
I have something. Do you know, like, popular girls? Like, sometimes popular girls are like very think like they own the world, and like they're like sometimes they're very mean, and sometimes you can be very popular and be like the nicest person.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if someone works really hard, and and you have, for example, like something that they really worked hard for, and then their parents didn't give them, and you have an extra, you should give it to them. And sometimes people judge you like, oh my God, you're so mean, because like the way you look.
So people make assumptions, right? The world is full of assumptions. And I think there's something even with like women who do wear hijab. Sometimes we'll assume that they're angels, right? When maybe they're not. But sometimes we'll, assume that they're bad people, like in France, when maybe they're not. There's a lot of assumptions that happen. And I think before you talk, Farah, let me just say this. I think one thing that's very, very important whenever you're connecting with your own identity is to really reflect and ask yourself, what does this mean to me? If you identify as a Muslim, what does Islam mean to you? That way, when you know who you are and why you care about this, even if the news is saying terrible things to you, or if the friends at school are saying awful things to you, you will be able to hold true to yourself because you know this is what these things mean to me. And that same thing goes for things like, choosing to have an active lifestyle, or choosing to do excellent in school, or choosing to be a good friend. The most important identities that you have to you want to connect. And for the identities that you're uncertain about, like I know some people who don't want to call themselves Arabs. They just want to be American. They want to erase that part of identity. It's important to ask yourself why. Why do you want to change this part about yourself? People who use skin bleach so that they can make their skin whiter. Why? Why are you trying to do this? Why do you want to change yourself? And it's important to see, because then you'll realize it's not coming from you, it's coming from out there in the world. And those are the voices that are influencing how you feel about yourself and the identities that you have about yourself. These are really big conversations, I think. But I wanted to talk about it because I was actually in a writing workshop today, and he was talking about how there's a quote, and it's history would be different if it was the lion telling the story instead of the hunter, right? If the hunter is the one who's always telling the story is going to be different. But if the lion is going to tell the story, history is going to sound completely different. And so he asked, what's your history? Who are you? What matters to you? What are these pieces of your identity that make you who you are? And I was thinking very, very deeply about these things. And I thought I'd think about it a little more with my lovely friends here. So does anyone have anything else to add? I know Farah and Salma, you guys have been talking. So let's see if anybody else wants to talk a little bit. Bless your hearts. Not that I don't love your cute voices. You can also private message me as well. I'm super chill, girlfriends. I've been through it all. And we can talk more about some of the stuff tomorrow as well, if that sounds good to you.
Tomorrow's 11, it's at 11 a.m., right?
11:05, yes.
I have a question. Do
Yes.
we have this class every day?
I mean, there will probably be days when I cannot do it. But yeah, for the most part, every day. I decided I'd like to have some new friends, so that's why I'm here, so that we can talk about some.
Can you tell me, like, wait, are we gonna have this on like Sundays and weekends?
Sunday weekends are at 11:05
p.m.
a.m.
No,
No.
no way, it's gonna be at night.
Yeah.
My mom went.
Oh. What's your question?
I don't really know.
That's okay. So for tomorrow's halaqa, we just meet here at the Zoom, same link.
My
So if you guys have any writings that you want to submit, winner gets $100. So that's exciting. And you have the chance to be in a poetry or in a book filled with all kinds of writing from all kinds of different people around the world. So if you have any deep things that you want to talk about and write about, please, I encourage you to submit, and Sister Muna will send you all of the.
Where do we submit it?
There's a Google Docs or a Google Forms, and Sister Muna will have the link for that. I'll send it to her. She can pass it on to you. Sound good?
Okay.
All right, my dears.
But I just forgot about that 500 word thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh no. I'm gonna be in big trouble.
You don't have to write that many, but write less than that much. All right. Assalamu alaikum, ladies. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at 11:05 tomorrow, inshallah.
Okay.